Fantastic. Hi there, Starr. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Good morning to you, good afternoon to me.
Good afternoon to you indeed. Today I've got with me here Starr Sackstein, obviously coming all the way from New York and having a chat with a little Aussie all the way over here. So crossing over some great big water as we come and have a little bit of a chat. And I'm really, really pleased that you could have a chat with us today. Obviously, it's Monday morning here, and I'm about to go into class in a little while. And you're a lucky devil. You've still got Sunday afternoon there. You can enjoy your Sunday afternoon.
Yes, I can.
You've got a few more hours of fun. Star, I've got you here for a little bit of a reason, obviously, as you'd well know. Coming up on Aussie Ed this week, we're going to be talking a little bit about blogging and its use in the classroom and its use for teacher education, teacher development, and things like that. But as you know, I've connected with you a few times now, and especially on Sun Chat, your chat that you're so heavily involved with, and you guys do such a great job on Sun Chat, obviously. Uh,
Yeah,
and no, you're welcome. You're welcome. One of my favourite chats. So after Aussie Ed, of course.
of course.
But look, I'd really like to reach out and grab a little bit of your expertise because I know this is an area of your passion. I know this is an area you're really into, and I thought we could hopefully learn a little bit from you. So I might get you to introduce yourself to our little audience here and tell us a little bit about who Star is.
All right. Well, I am a New York City public school teacher, high school, mostly 11th and 12th graders, so almost college-age kids. I've been teaching for 13 years, and I love it. I love teaching English. I love teaching journalism. There's something tremendous about watching the progress children make in their writing over a period of time that I really have come to love. Watching them get stuff is really exciting to me. And blogging has become something that I myself do, but also I teach my students to do for a few different reasons, which has been another great way for them to develop their voices in their writing. So that's pretty cool.
That is actually, I have noticed on a side note, I have noticed that you are quite brave. I've seen a lot of teachers utilise social media differently and try and keep it as safe as possible. And I have actually seen you over the time. You're not afraid to try something new and certainly um, push, not push boundaries, but certainly add that whole level of realism. And I think one of the things I'm passionate about is having an authentic digital audience. And I think creating an authentic digital audience is actually very much, when we talk about, the shift in paradigm, I think having an authentic digital audience is really one of the big shifts, one of the big directions eventually we'll head to. So uh, just on a side note, I know that you do that and you're very, very brave. and,
It's
and
interesting to say brave because there are a lot of folks in the New York City public school system that would not encourage any digital use. As a matter of fact, our union says we shouldn't have Facebook pages and we shouldn't participate in any kind of online digital social networks of any kind because they're always so afraid of something being taken out of context or people misusing it. And it kind of goes along with the whole climate right now. I don't know what it's like in Australia, but in the United States, there's such a negative sort of push in education that there's focus on everything bad that happens instead of, the hundreds of and thousands of really awesome things that are going on, and there really are lots of really great things happening. So whenever I learn something new that really gets me excited, I want to bring it into my classroom right away. I want my kids to experience the excitement I feel when I go in, and I'm a pretty ADD learner myself. I need to be really excited about things all the time, or else I'm moving on to something else. So if my kids are anything like me, and a lot of them are, I have to keep their attention in different ways. So this year we implemented blogs instead of just submitting their lit. My AP kids do literature reaction papers every week on poetry and different kinds of literature. And instead of them just submitting papers to me every week, they started doing blogs so that they could read each other's blogs and start talking about books instead of just sharing with me what they're reading, so that they could kind of develop a conversational reaction to literature as opposed to analysis kind of stuff. And that's how we've implemented the blogs in class. And we're talking about digital citizenship and teaching them how to comment on each other's blogs appropriately, and how they could share to get a wider variety of readers, and making sure that they're replying to the comments that they get, and really making sure that when they're writing on their blogs, they understand they have an authentic audience, like you were just saying, and it's not just me reading their papers, but a whole lot of other people as well. Plus, we implemented Twitter in the classroom. We have a hashtag for every single one of our classes. So my students have their phones out in class, even though there is a rule in New York City that you are not allowed to have electronics in class. And they tweet questions, so we back channel in class, so if kids are afraid to ask a question, they could tweet it to the hashtag, and then after class, I could answer it, or one of their classmates could answer it. They tweet pictures of the work they're doing in their groups, of different parts of a text we're working on, and now it's a living, breathing transcript of what's going on in our space. And it's been really awesome. We use Instagram, we use, I have a Facebook group for, I advise the student publication at my school, so we also use Facebook there. And this year we also attached student blogs for opinion blogs onto our online media as well. So, you know, kids are also adding more of their voice to the online open forum that we have at school.
That's great. I mean, the increase in engagement and things like that, it's a big winner. Have you noticed a significant difference in the end result, the end product in their work as well, or?
I think it's too soon to tell. Like, I'm definitely noticing that there have been a lot of changes in my classroom this year, so I'm not really sure I can attribute it to any one thing, because I really did like a whole reconstruction this year with the way that I handle my class. I got rid of grades. Plus, I'm also balancing the two blogs that I write. I write on starsaxing.com, and now I also write for Ed Week Teacher. So I have like my national blog through Ed Week Teacher, and I have my regular blog, which has been the one I've been writing on for a while, and I'm also writing another book, and it's a lot. Like, I'm starting to get overwhelmed.
No doubt, no doubt. You certainly are. There's the benefit of being ADD.
Yeah, well, I'd get bored otherwise, I guess. But, you know, there's always something to do.
That's it, that's it. Look, you mentioned a lot of benefits there for the students. I wonder, have you seen any parallels? And I know you've written about this sort of stuff, but can you explain some parallels and some benefits that teachers can gain from blogging as well? Absolutely.
Now, my entryway into blogging kind of came because of Twitter, and also because a couple of years ago when I was writing my first book, I was trying to gain an audience before the book was finished. I was trying to gauge who were my readers going to be, what was resonating with them. And to be honest with you, my boyfriend set up the WordPress blog that I have, and I refused to touch it for like 6 months. I had no time for it. I didn't understand why it would be useful. It was just like an annoyance that sat there, and one day when he wouldn't post something as fast as I wanted him to, I started playing with it myself. And I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. And I put my first post up, which has since been deleted. And you know, because I didn't really get it at first. I didn't get the format. I didn't understand what I was trying to do with it. Now I would say my blog has become my daily reflection place. Successes, less than successes, things that I want to share that I think will be useful to other people. Mostly it's about me being transparent about what's happening in my space. It's not really a rant platform. I don't use it as others do to go off on crazy things. I really do try to keep the soapbox away from my blog. My blog is more about the realities of being in the classroom. And I think that a lot of people are really afraid to share the realities, good or bad, that happen in their space, because that kind of transparency can be kind of scary. But the reflection piece, you know, in the first few months I had the blog, nobody read it. I mean, if I got 3 people to click on it, it was like, woo, 3 people, that was awesome. And then it was like 10 people, and then all of a sudden, as I started participating in more Twitter chats, more people were coming. And now I would say that I get between 100 and 400 readers a day on starsackstein.com, and on EdWeek I get about 30,000 a month.
Whoa.
So yeah, I mean, it's
Awesome.
really hard for me to even wrap my brain around, to be honest with you, that many people care about what I have to say, and find it useful and appreciate the candor that I share on my blog, and how honest I am. Because, you know, sometimes I'm sitting there, someone asked me at a conference last week, you know, aren't you worried that you're going to get in trouble for publishing some of the stuff that you write? And I don't really worry until after I hit submit. Because if the space is really about me using it as a reflective piece, it does me no good to not be honest.
Yep.
I would rather say, hey, okay, so I had this idea, I went into class today, totally blew up in my face. You know, I thought I was prepared. My kids weren't getting it the way that they thought they were going to, so I needed to call a do-over in the middle of class, you know, and the do-over ended up being much better than what I had planned, so it didn't really make a difference. And, you know, after you're in the classroom for 13 years, you have to be able to, like, be really quick to turn stuff around, especially with the older kids, because they see through everything. And as soon as you lose them, you cannot win them back. So you kind of have to really be on your A game, especially when you're going down fast, like the flames are starting to come up around you. And I find that those blog posts are the most engaging ones, because it's like, okay, so it started out like any other classroom situation, and then this happened, you know, and I always get people coming back to me after going, oh my God, I've totally been there. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I felt like such a failure afterwards. And, you know, that leads to blog post number 2, feeling like failure and what you can do about that, you know. And I really feel like, because I have made it such an honest space, it has made me a much better teacher. I am not afraid of my mistakes anymore. I'm not afraid of sharing my mistakes. I learn from my mistakes. I actually think them out on the blog. I think about ways I can improve next time. And then when I redo it, I blog about it again, and it's like, because of the mistakes I made, this is what I was able to accomplish the second time around. And, you know, that alone has also won me a bigger audience, and it has developed my writing voice a lot better. And, you know, ironically, now I'm not only on the blog, now I have people offering me book deals because of it. So, I mean, it's crazy. It's really crazy how a small little blog that I thought nobody was ever going to read has sort of turned into what it has.
I think when you say there that being really honest and that authenticity, it's surprising that in a digital medium, sometimes that authenticity actually comes across stronger than almost even in real life. I think in real life we have so many social protocols and different things, and people can talk face to face, and some people are gifted talkers, and we have, you know, a hierarchy, you know, in our workplaces. But the digital medium is a great leveler. It doesn't matter if you have a PhD behind your name. It doesn't matter if you're a first-year-out teacher. It doesn't matter if you're toiling away in the classroom. What you say is what counts, and people will, I think, people will look at it, and if you're talking rubbish, they're not going to listen. But if you're talking common sense and you're being truly honest and you're being really authentic, I think that comes across stronger than even in real life.
You know, Brett, what's funny about it the most is, like, I am so socially awkward. Like, in general, like, in person, I don't know, I'm really shy. So writing has always sort of been my thing, because until I warm up to people, usually, I have a very hard time dealing with large audiences. And even when people ask me to speak now, and I'm working on my 4th book, and
Hmm.
people ask me to speak more now. I'm always surprised when somebody wants me to talk to them, but um, I don't know. It's so uncomfortable for me. Yet I could say anything on Twitter. I could say anything on my blog and really be confident in what I'm saying. And I haven't gotten there yet in person.
See, even how open and honest you've been, though, just in this chat, I really appreciate it. You're very inspirational. Look, you've mentioned your books a couple of times, and I wonder, just to help, if people are watching along, and obviously I'm going to post this on the Aussie Ed blog, funnily enough, but you've mentioned your books a few times. If people were interested, where can they find them, and maybe the titles, and obviously a lot of them about blogging and things like that. So maybe you can give us a little bit of a talk about that.
Okay, well, the first teaching one's called Teaching Mythology Exposed, and that one is sort of like 20 myths about teaching that most people, and I did a bunch of research, like it was the 20 most sort of thought about things that people were incorrect about when they got into teaching. Like they just thought it was going to be different than it was. So it's a really readable, there are short chapters, there's a lot of activities in them to do your own reflecting, and that all of them can be found on Amazon. That's probably the easiest place to get them, and they're electronic and also paperback. I won't even mention the first one because that one's an embarrassment. But um, yeah, that one was a historical fiction novel that I wrote as a project with my first group of freshman students when I first started teaching. But it's out there for people to read, and I think like 3 people have, so that's pretty awesome. And then the one that's coming out in January is through Corwin, their Connected Educators series, and that one's called Blogging for Educators. And it could be pre-ordered now, and it's basically exactly what we're talking about. Someone who wants to start blogging but doesn't know where to start. It talks about why you should blog, the benefits of blogging, different platforms you can use, and ease of use on each of those platforms and why you would choose one over another, as well as like hosting choices and vanity URLs and whether or not you should go for free or paid or anything like that, as well as, basically how you can use it as an educator. And the last one that I'm working on now that's just in production, if you will, is about questioning, teaching students to ask questions to sort of fuel their curiosity about learning. So a little all over the charts, but, fun stuff nonetheless.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Look, that's really good. I hope your next book is a big success, and I'm sure at least more than 3 people will read it.
Yeah, I
But
hope so.
yeah, fingers crossed. But look, I really do want to give a big, honest thank you to coming today and having a bit of a chat with me. And I know it's quite funny talking last night on Twitter and messaging and trying to tee all this up, and time zones and daylight savings and everything sort of trying to get in the way. But really appreciate it, and I love your enthusiasm, and you are inspiration. And do you know what? And this is a corny line, but you are a star as well. So thank you very much. Big gold
Thank you,
star.
Fred. Have an awesome day.
You too. You too.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy the rest of the Sunday. Bye bye.